Hey Danielle, I saw your email about the notes to this. But yeah, let's take a look. Let's see where you're at. Um, so this is looking good as you go into spline, you know. It's just like some things I think just need to be like settled down a little bit or locked or, you know, going through and just really paying attention to like fine tuning the movement. So I'll talk about the areas that grab my eye the most, right? Um, yeah. So if you look at this screen, the red arm, you can see it like kind of goes back and then there's like a pop in the shoulder. Maybe that's what you were talking about in your email about that clavicle. So that just needs to be settled down. Like it feels like it goes from here to here. Maybe that's not even splined yet, but it seems to like jump from one pose to another pose in one frame, and it doesn't like really animate between those two poses. Also, you can see your hand um, like rotates back and then forward again over the course of just 2 frames. So maybe that back rotation isn't really necessary or needed. It'd be nice here too if these hands were posed like kind of open and relaxed and we get to see them go into the fists here. I mean, you could even like, if you really wanted the audience to see that, it could be in transition and not in a fist until kind of like up here. Yeah, and we settle into this. So these feet are like squirming around a little bit. So you got to kind of like pick a rotation and like lock them in. If it's gonna rotate, see how it's like rotating screen left and then it rotates again screen right. So when I said like, oh, you know, it seems a little like you just need to kind of like lock that stuff down. You need to go through and look for stuff like that. I mean, it's true of the red foot too. Like the red foot is, the heel is raising and it all looks pretty solid, but then it kind of like slides back screen left like here, you know what I mean? And that makes it feel like it doesn't have any weight on it. Um, so yeah, I think as you're coming up into this kick, like the angle of this foot is staying the same as when it was on the ground until it gets to here. So like you kind of need to like animate that transition, like make sure it goes, we're animating between these poses once we're in spline. Yeah, and like your spine here goes from this to this in one frame, and that's a pretty big change to do in one frame. So I would, you know, I think you need to be animating the in-between stuff a little bit more. Like, it looks fine going here with the spine, but maybe here is where I would start animating into this. So it's a little bit more like this on this frame. It's a little bit more like this on this frame. It's a little bit starting to bend back on this frame. So we transition between that, and it'll make the head also like not jump from here to this extreme. That's like a lot to do. But maybe that's still stepped and not splined. And then here, like this change here happens one frame to the next. So kind of got to like animate into this, and maybe it takes until this frame to get into it. I'm not sure. But the kick looks great. I'd love to see just a little bit, like here the pelvis is rotating back, and as I think this foot's being thrown forward, it would be the opposite of that. So I think the pelvis should rotate this way just a little bit. It doesn't have to be like super extreme, but I feel like it's doing the opposite of what it would do. Because when you kick this leg forward, it's going to like pull on the pelvis, it's going to pull on that hip, it's going to pull it forward because the leg has a lot of weight, you know. And again, like we're getting some like one frame pops on the spine here. So maybe that's not fully splined yet, because here it's doing it again. So just clean up that stuff, take a pass and clean up that stuff. And that might help settle down your arms. Like there's some big pops in what the arms and hands are doing. Like she brings this one up here. Maybe we can leave it clear of the face so it's not like that, because that might cause some confusion to what's happening. But like the arm jumps down into this pose, 1, 2, and then it kind of freezes there, and then it goes 1 into this pose, 2, and then it jumps. Like that's a big spacing change. So that's probably too big of a spacing change. Let me see. So like if this is where you want to have that arm pose, I'm going to turn on ghosting. If that's where you want that arm pose, the next one has to be just like starting to come up, and then maybe you're close to getting where you want to go, and then we're almost settled into this, and now we're settled into this. You know what I mean? So we need like to see those in-between poses where it's like transitioning from one pose to the other. It doesn't have to be a lot, but if it's not there, it's just going to look like it's kind of like jumping all over. See if there's anything you can do here to like break up the overlap on these 2 arms so we get a little space. I know you had that camera pose before. I'm not sure if you've abandoned that as being like your shot camera. But I'm going to pretend like this side camera is the camera that... So maybe we can get the arms like a little separated, a little more silhouetted, a little more understandable, even though you're copying exactly what she's doing, but she's not always going to be doing the best thing for animation. So we always have to do the best thing for the shot. Yeah, and so just track your arms throughout all of it. It's until you get your spine like and torso animated properly. Like don't work on the arms. Wait till you get like this settled down, because that's going to affect all the spacing on your arm stuff. So let's see about the kick. Yeah, cool. I think you can make the kick like a little punchier than what she's doing. It feels like maybe there's too many frames. So like here she's with the straight leg, but here she's also with the straight leg, and your leg is still bent. So maybe get to the straight leg at the same time she does. We might even want to make it like faster. And then in this pose, like her leg just continues up. See how it like continues that momentum up a little bit? And then if you really want to make it feel like powerful, drag the foot, have the leg bent a little bit more here than what she's doing. You know what I mean? So maybe watch your foot spacing as you lift up. This is great. But if we're going to go to here, then we need to think about that in between. That in between is probably going to be something like this, right? And that'll give you, because we can make that kick like a little faster, it's going to give you like a really great snappy poppy kick feeling. Like maybe this is like kind of where the foot is on this one, and because we're going all the way up to here on this one, maybe, let's see, is that where, it's hard for me to tell what drawings. Yeah, so that's where we're going on that one. So maybe the in between of that, you know, we want to favor it more towards the lower one. So if this is the top and this is the bottom, halfway is going to be kind of like less than halfway, maybe like a third of the way. It's going to be like here. Of course, the foot won't be able to be there. It's probably going to be down here because we need to like get that arc. That arc's going to happen with the knee. So this is a messy drawing because I'm like trying to figure out where that foot's going to be. But hopefully the idea is solid, and that'll like really make that kick like pop. That's important. Anyways, this is looking great. Keep up the splining stuff. Keep up the good work. Try to, you know, like look at all the parts of the body, and if they're kind of seem like they're jumping left and right or like squirming around, like the feet are kind of, both feet are kind of squirming around right here. So neither one feels like they're planted on the ground, and like jumps on the spine and stuff. I don't know if the spine has been splined, or maybe it's even coming from your cog control if that hasn't been splined, or I don't know. But anyways, take a look at that stuff. Take a look at your curves. Yeah, and if you need office hours or any one-on-one time, just send me an email. I'm available. But yeah, keep up the good work. Keep up the progress for next week. We have 2 weeks left, so keep that in mind. It'd be great to see like a mostly resolved spline pass for next week, so I can do like a final round of notes. Because I think that this is going to be like a really nice, strong piece. I didn't look at it much from the front-on view because I figure let's just focus on the side view for now. There's like little spacing things happening in the side view, and like I can see the pelvis pops from that rotation from the pelvis, just goes from here to here over the course of one frame, and then it just kind of locks. So make sure that you're like animating through all of these transitions. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's looking really strong. All right, thanks, Daniela. Hope you have a good week.